Link solves a very basic problem for a business that is stuck on old systems, whether that's point of sale, accounting, payments, and that may not be right for their business. It makes it dead simple for them to switch to a system of their choice and do it within a matter of hours, not days or weeks. Secondly, once they have adopted new systems and an ideal tech stack, we also make sure that the data flows seamlessly in real time between all of the different systems that they use. For example, if it's a restaurant or a retailer and they're processing transactions, at the end of every day, like clockwork, all of those would get pushed into the accounting system. So we serve over 20,000 businesses that have benefited from the technology, and we work in popular ecosystems such as Shopify, Lightspeed, GoDaddy, PayPal, etc. Money 20 is a unique event that brings together all parts of the ecosystem, investors, press folks, and great prospects. But particularly for us, it was this real interest in exploring what we can do for fintech in terms of a value proposition, because we have been able to solve this for commerce broadly, and fintech has been a new space that we have entered. So it's been amazing having conversations with all kinds of banks, to crypto providers, to all other parts of the ecosystem, and getting a very good understanding of where we can be of use and driving value. It's been pretty amazing, both from a business development standpoint, but also from a learning standpoint, because many of these conversations have been at a ground level innovation, understanding, for example, if a stable coin what would it take for it to be accepted at a terminal and be used like a credit card? Nobody has fully solved this, but when a lot of us come together and we talk about how this can work with the large companies, but also players like us in tandem solving the problem, I think that is the biggest value, I feel, coming from an event like this.
In terms of things you've seen, conversations you've had this week, what stood out?
I think it was, one was just about just realizing that it, of all the talk with AI, you realize that there's a lot of fundamental basic innovation happening in software that does not require massive AI type of implementations or innovations, but just basic problem solving in the old school fashion of SaaS, and what impact that continues to have. I think so that coming into the event, I thought that a lot of the newer startups are going to be just AI centric, but that is not the case. Sure, you see that shift, but that is still a small part of many of the companies here that are driving immense value.
If you were to give advice to non-SaaS background fintech companies, what would you say?
I think the fundamentals of what it takes to take a product to market and scale it in terms of sales and marketing, a lot of those basics have changed, because you see companies getting to even a 10 million ARR without a traditional sales and marketing structure, right, that you would see in the SaaS world. So you have companies that don't have a CRO, really don't even have more than 2 SDRs and AEs, who have reached that scale and who have compounded 10x in 1 year, which was never, I think, unthinkable. There would be an outlier, a couple of outliers in the SaaS days, and that has now changed. And it's acknowledging, understanding that new reality of how to build your team, your product, and your business org in this new model is very important, as to not go and try to replicate older formulas, which may or may not work.
One of the things, it's that time of year where people are looking for trends, predictions. What are you looking forward to in 2026?
I think the biggest thing for us is to, in some sense, further our mission in terms of helping the most number of businesses beyond just our core retail and restaurant, what has been our bread and butter, but expanding it to a broad range of business types, making it that simple for them to go where they want to, and actually taking the burden away from them in a way to say, oh, here's my business, but we're able to then analyze based on the data and say, it's time that you graduated to this other stack that is actually right for you. And you don't have to think about the technology. You flip your burgers, run your store, do what you do. And we want to be able to take that burden away from the business. And I think that we can now finally make a step change in that in 2026 with all the tooling and AI changes that have now come into play. What we could have achieved in 5 years, I think we can now do in 1 year.
Anything about LinkedIn you're excited about coming up soon?
Our AI-centric migration experiences that is going to be live on multiple marketplaces. So we have already launched on major ones like Clover, Shopify, Lightspeed, and that you're going to see a rapid expansion into 15 other ecosystems and marketplaces. And effectively, that is what's going to make it more broadly available to 1 million plus merchants, right, in North America. And that's very exciting for us from a product roadmap standpoint.
Where can people go to learn more about it?
Our website is a good place to start, linktoany.com. And we also have a pretty active presence on LinkedIn and other social media. And we also have various events and trade shows that we are at, from food to retail tech to and now Money 2020. So would love to hear from the ecosystem, and I'm personally engaged quite actively in conversations as well.